Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 12-ish edition. Sorry, Jeff, I totally don't know it. I think it's 12. It's either 12 or 13 or 11. It's somewhere in that area of going for two-point conversion with two original OGs on the show, which I'm very pleased to have. The B League Says, who I had the pleasure of doing a Monday night show, who had really great show sheets, much better than mine, and Leo's dad, Nate.
Hello. Yes.
I'm really, really happy to have you on too. Let's start by doing a shout out. I already did a shout out to Leo, and I wanted to do a shout out to Rum Boys. Is that how you pronounce that?
Rum Boys, yeah.
Yeah. Much sorry about your niece. And if the GoFundMe is still up, it should still be on his account. If you guys can, anyone listening now, anyone listening in the future, you shoot him a short condolences and donate a little if you can for his niece's funeral and the other expenses that the family will have to incur. And that is my shout out for this evening. And I'm here in Denver, Colorado, where it is 99 degrees outside. My dog hates life, as do I right now. And I am going to start with the B League Says.
Hi.
Hello, sir. How
What's
are
going
you?
on? I'm good. What's cracking? We're good?
Not much. Yeah.
Happy Monday. We're on.
Okay. Tell everyone a little bit about yourself and what your walk-up song would be.
My walk-up song, I think, what sport are we talking? What walk-up song we got here? Give me one.
Any song you want.
I'll tell you what, I think a walk-up song needs to be loose. You got to get in the groove, I guess. I'm going to play that funky music by Wild Cherry.
Yes.
That's what I'm doing. You want to get the shoulders rolling. You want to just ease your way into something before you kind of get your mojo on. I think that's the one. Play that funky music, white boy. That's what I'm doing.
What's up with you?
No, I don't need to be hammering drums and headbanging beforehand. No. Playing that funky music.
I haven't heard that song forever. Okay, and sir, what? We'll get that later. Nate,
Yes.
your walk-up song?
Well, I guess it depends on what kind of mood I'm in. Man, I'm gonna go with a song that probably nobody knows, which is it's called "Layers" by NF. He's one of my favorite rap artists, and so that song's amazing to me, and that's something that would get me going. But if I'm angry and I need to, like, if I'm going into the octagon to do some MMA, then I'll go with Break Stuff from Limp Bizkit.
So that's a good choice for an octagon. For an octagon, that's a great choice.
Yeah.
The funky music for an octagon wouldn't work. I'm just saying. I needed some context here. Come on.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Wait, I need a couple of lyrics from Layers.
Oh my God. So Layers it's basically NF talking about how he's got a bunch of layers to him, and that I got to pull up some lyrics, man. I can't just think right off the top of my head right now.
Okay.
But it's to me it's a motivator because it speaks to my journey actually in fantasy football, and that's why I'm able to relate to him in so many assets of life, but a lot of it, believe it or not, is relatable in the fantasy industry for me personally.
And speaking of which, if you guys aren't following Dominate FF, you need to, because like every day he has like a motivational little piece that I love every time.
Thank you.
And always thank you.
I love the one about the boiled egg and the. I saw that. I was like, that's brilliant. It was hot water.
I know. I love that one.
I was like, yeah, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Never thought about. What was that, Socrates or something? I was like, oh yeah, that's brilliant. Fair play. Fair play to Socrates. He got it all in before everyone else could.
Good dude. I just hung out with him last week. He was a good dude.
All right. Before we get started with fantasy, I want to find out a little bit something about, and I should really know this, and I feel really bad that I don't, because like I said, I did a Monday with Dan. Dan, tell me about the Gotham City podcast, please.
Oh, it's fun. Me and a guy I work with, my guy Izio at Sosa Props. It's just essentially we just work together, and we just thought, why don't we just record this garbage, and that would be fun. And that's it. So we cover all things New York sports, whether it's the Liberty or the Red Bulls or the Yankees, the Giants, the Islanders, whatever. It doesn't matter. We just talk a little bit about it. It doesn't go for too long. It's 30 minutes, 40 minutes max, and we just have a bit of fun with it. There's nothing analytical about it, and it's just two dudes shooting the breeze about a little bit of sports in New York, and that's about it. It's really it. It was the Back Row Giants show, which I don't do that anymore, because could you imagine talking about the Giants longer than 15 minutes a week in the off season? I just don't have it in me. So that's what we're rolling with.
When is it on?
Oh man, it's just whenever we get to record. So we took a lot of the pressure off us for that. So normally it's about once a week. We took a little bit of a break over the last month or so, and then we've come back and we're going to keep cracking on, which is good.
Oh yeah, Dan's break was in Aruba too. Just FYI.
That's a non-factor for the people to know about. Thank you, Gladys. No one needs to know that.
And Nate, tell me please a little bit about the Fantasy Football Black Book.
Sure. Well, first, Dan, I love that you said it's New York based, because I could totally hear your New York accent. Obviously, that's such a New York accent. It's the best New York accent I've ever heard in my life.
I'm just ingratiating myself into the culture, my friend. You got to just really dive in to all of it. That's it.
So this guy, Fantasy Football Black Book, has some of the best minds in fantasy sports. And obviously, so this is my 4th consecutive year doing it. So thank you so much to Joe Pisapia, who is the author of this book. He puts it together, does an amazing job. He's able to get all these amazing people in and featured in the book every year. And I'm proud to be part of it. And it's honestly, it's a whole bunch of things. It's something that will help you throughout the season, because we cover all different types of leagues you can be in. But mostly it's a really good draft preparation book, and it's number 1 in fantasy sports every year on Amazon. So go out, get yourself a copy of the Fantasy Football Black Book 2021. And, if you get a copy like this, believe it or not, Joe will actually send updates digitally to you if you get this book. So go ahead and get yourself a black book.
Excellent. On Amazon is the only place to get it?
Amazon, it's you can get Kindle. You can get the Kindle version or paperback.
All right, everyone. That's a little bit about these two special gentlemen that we have here. And now we're going to jump right in it. And I want to know what you think. 2 things. Let's go to Deshaun Watson first.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Let's do that.
Taking out the peripheral, taking out all the noise that will happen, or probably sooner or later. Will he play in 2021? And if you say yes, where is his best fantasy landing? Like, I know, like, the chatter out here is, oh my God, he wants to come to Denver, and we love it. And not we as in me, because I'm a Steeler fan, but the Denver people. But Dan, since you had the most, visceral reaction there.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson, baby, what do you say?
I don't think he plays this year. I hope he does, because who doesn't like seeing Deshaun Watson play? Aside from any issues he might be facing or is facing, I think in terms of talent, there aren't many quarterbacks that are more enjoyable to watch on a weekly basis. He makes, there's so many proverbials for it, but we'll say lemons and lemonade. He does that with what Houston has dished up to him over the past handful of years. Especially last year, that was no different when obviously the Hopkins and David Johnson stuff was going down, and he still managed to be the passing yards leader in 2020. The guy's an absolute stud. So I think for an enjoyment standpoint, who doesn't want to see Deshaun Watson play? Do I think he's going to hold out for the season and get suspended? Probably. I think so. Where his best landing spot is, I mean, there's always the whispers of somewhere like Philadelphia or Denver. They've always been about. Miami I kind of saw about as well this offseason too, but I don't think it really matters because he's shown he can play amongst some of the worst. So it doesn't really matter what landing spot he goes to, I don't think. Hey, listen, if Aaron Rodgers gets moved, then hey, Green Bay could be there. Why not? Why not hope he goes to a place like that? Jordan Love, who cares? You got Deshaun Watson. But I think, no, I don't think he plays this year. I'd like to be pleasantly surprised, but no.
What about you, Nate? You think he plays or no?
Man, this is it's the most complicated situation, I think, of all players heading into the season, right? So I'm just let's assume he's playing, right? Part of me actually still kind of likes him in Houston. I mean, I know it's kind of crazy, and the truth is, at the end of all of this, ironically, that's where he may end up just staying there. Although how bad it was from both sides, neither wanted to let go. But it speaks. He's now lost all of his pull that he had earlier on.
Right.
So the Texans weren't going to let him go. At least that's what they were saying. So now that he's kind of lost his the strength in which he had for negotiating a new deal with a different team, that's pretty much all but gone. And Houston, if they want to, still hold on to the guy because who are they going to put in there? You know what I'm saying? So I think it wouldn't be terrible to have him there. Brandon Cooks is amazing. I love Kiki Kuti. They've got some talent over there, and they're going to struggle. Let's just face it, and that's really good for fantasy football because they'll be playing catch up, and he's going to have to make a lot of plays. So for me, the answer that is most unpopular is Houston. So I'll just go with that.
And talking about quarterbacks with leverage, Aaron Rodgers, do you think he's playing this year? Nate, for you, sir?
I just saw a tweet earlier. I hate this. It's like one of the things I always had a pet peeve about was like someone brings up a stat or something and they don't credit who it is, but I swear I forgot who this is from. But it was actually Spot Track. I remember now. The owner of a Spot Track, that talks about all contracts, and it showed how much he'd miss out on if he didn't play this year. I think it was like $35 million.
Yeah, it was crazy. I saw the same thing. It's like 32, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if there's one person that could just say no to $35 million, I guess it would be Aaron Rodgers, but I don't see that happening. I think he's going to play, and there's no other answer. I'm gonna stick with the team. It's got to be the Packers because we've only seen him with the Packers. He's elite on the Packers. He's got Devontae Adams, one of the best wide receivers in the league. He's got a great running back support group, which helps relieve some of the pressure from him. So, yeah, if I'm going to guess, I'm going to say Aaron Rodgers plays. He just skips everything preseason related because he doesn't need it. And then he shows up and plays week 1, and he's in Green Bay for 2021.
What do you say, Dan?
Yeah, I mean, I think the boring answer is the correct answer as well. I mean, at this point, teams are pretty much starting. I mean, Aaron Rodgers would be the exception to the rule in terms of a trade prior to off-season workouts and all that sort of stuff. I understand that too, but we're talking about the guy that was the QB3 last year. Mm-hmm. Why? How many better landings? 2 other better landing spots potentially, right? And this is a guy that isn't the most mobile, where other guys have that cheat code. So we're talking about only once since like 2015 he's finished outside the top 12 as a quarterback. He was injured that year, points per game 7th, right? So what that team is built for him, and he could walk into any team and it would still be built for him. But he's a Packer. I know he says he wants to be out of there, and I'm sure I could have seen him somewhere back in Cali with San Fran before they made the move. And obviously, if you saw the press conference with Lynch and Shanahan after the draft, they were like, yeah, we made the inquiry. And I don't blame them either. That's Aaron Rodgers. And if anyone can get anyone over the hump, it's going to be him. But they have a hump to get over themselves in Green Bay. And that's, improving that secondary and getting that run D better and getting him some better help. And funnily enough, they kind of did that this year. So why would he be better off elsewhere now? I don't know. And listen, hey, he gets Devin Funchess back this year too. So You know, we could-
I think Devin Funch is going to be cut because he's getting hurt like every practice.
It's peak off season when you see something about Devin Funches pop up. You're like, oh, this is happening again. Don't worry, I'm the Giants fan here. I saw Kelvin Benjamin tweets in April. I've been living with this. So, you know, when you see this sort of thing happen, but I think the best place for him to be is where he is. And, you know, it would be, you can imagine something like peak Aaron Rodgers, you know, wouldn't it be funny if Brady retires at the end of the year and he goes, you know what, how about Tampa? Those Florida taxes, a team set up, that'd be pretty sick.
That would be so cool to see that.
You know, it could also be a team like New Orleans that has dealt with an aging quarterback before that's still set up and they still kind of haven't made their mind up. And, you know, they still have a first next year and that could be something that they delve into too. Why not? There's 31 other teams, it sounds like, that would want Aaron Rodgers if they could get him. And, you know, he's saying please, and they're saying, nah, we don't know about that. So
yeah, personally, I think we could see him in Kansas City. They have a bum at QB over there.
Oh, yeah, there's that guy there, right. And,
he's awful. What's his name? Something Patrick Mahomes, something like that. Yeah.
I heard the quarterback for Arizona is playing baseball next year, and he's just had enough.
We're going to hear that every year.
That's going to happen. He could go anywhere, and he'd be a fit anywhere, and I think he's the best fit, like Nate said, is where he is because, NFC conference championships 2 years straight, something like that. They're not far off if they can get there. And, you know, I dare say, had they have made the Super Bowl, they might have beaten Kansas as well, the way that Kansas were kind of limping into the final there. So, you know, they weren't as far off as what people might have think, even though they were right there. So
I agree.
I think he's right where he is.
All right. Hey, Gerson, miss your face. I just have to say that. All right, you guys. So you both are saying yes to both quarterbacks playing, but let's assume that they don't play, and you have your choice between Tyrod Taylor and Jordan Love.
This kills me.
Are you picking either one?
This is awful.
Are you playing with either one? And which one are you playing with, Dan?
No, this seems to be hurting Nate more. So I want to see.
It is. Yeah, I'll jump in. Let me jump on this grenade. So for me, I've like, I don't know why it's like it feels kind of personal over the years. My hatred for Tyrod Taylor.
Oh, wow.
I cannot stand Tyrod Taylor. I think it's because of how much everyone else loves him for fantasy purposes, and he's just not a good quarterback. So, but with that said, I would have to go with him over Jordan Love, and that's how bad Jordan Love I think is. So if we're talking strictly fantasy football, I think Tyrod Taylor would be better than Jordan Love in 2021.
Dan?
Who's the least expensive of the two?
Jordan Love. He's on a rookie. No, he's on his. Yeah, he's on the second year.
I mean, if you were to draft one of them,
ADP wise, I think they'd probably fall right next to each other, probably like 31, 32.
Yeah, listen, I think we know what Tyrod Taylor can do, and that known. I mean, it hasn't really done much lately, and he had that one really good year in Buffalo, and that's cool. But that was, 5 years ago, 6 years ago? And we're hoping that is the same guy that we see now in his third different offense in 3 years. And I think I'd go with the guy with the better talent around him, unfortunately. I'll play that narrative. If you're a quarterback and you have Devontae Adams, you've got Aaron Jones, you've got help on that offensive line still, you've got, you know, I kind of feel like that. Also, you know, you've also got Detroit, Chicago, and Minnesota in your division, so I'd like a chances with that as well.
That's fair.
Then again, Jacksonville and the Titans have taken a step forward, but that division it doesn't matter who the quarterback is. Green Bay got to run around that place like there's nothing's changed. So, you know, I kind of think I'd like the idea of that. And hey, listen, if he's terrible, he can run for his life, right? So that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to go for the kid.
Neither one will be drafted anyway in any like 12-team leags. If you know, unless it's 2 QB, then we'll talk about it. But I think single QB, neither one's going to be drafted, even if they were named the starter today.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. So that being said, and not knowing who the two quarterbacks are, which team do you think is most likely to surprise either in a good way or in a bad way for 2021, going into 2021?
Dan, you want to go first?
In a good or a bad way. I mean, what's the worst thing that happens to Tyrod Taylor? Gets replaced with Davis Mills? Is that the worst thing that happens at this point? He gets listen, he's unfortunate. I actually believe Anthony Lynn when he says Tyrod was our starter until they punctured his lung. I don't think they had plans to play Justin Herbert until he was like, rookie of the year. I think they were going to go with that. And that's fine because, whatever, but Davis Mills, who's the other quarterback there? Ryan Finley, who's he losing his job to? So, I think the downside, I think the worst news could be to Jordan Love is if he got replaced by Blake Bortles. You're not quarterback ready. We're going to Blake Bortles. I think that would be the worst news I think any quarterback could ever hear. That would be the end of him.
I think that's actually a big possibility.
And you know what? Like Nick Boyle was the guy last year, right? He was their guy that. Hey, he's our number 2. We like Nick Boyle this year. And if something had have happened to Aaron Rodgers, it would have been Nick Boyle. I don't think they had any intention of playing Jordan Love. So if here's this kid that's getting all this preseason hype and press because Aaron Rodgers is doing his thing, and all of a sudden Blake Bortles he's getting the nod. If you're Jordan Love, you're probably taking a few night courses in the off season. That's what I'd be saying.
So what was your answer?
You don't want to be Jordan. You don't want to be Jordan Love getting any bad news at this point. Tyrod Taylor's going to be a backup on another team for the next 5 years. It won't matter. He'll be fine.
He's a decent backup. That's how I feel about him. All right. So let's see, good or bad. I'm actually going to say that the Saints could surprise people with how bad they'll be. I think that it's going to be an adjustment without Drew Brees. He's been such a staple in that offense. And I know it's such an easy thing to point to, right? Like, of course, he's been like their only quarterback, their most stable quarterback for the last, 15, 20 years. I think that they haven't even named a starter, right? They got Jameis Winston, love him for fantasy. That's fine. But they also have Taysom Hill, who, man, he is such a wild card. And regardless of who they name starter, I think it's going to be a mix of both of them all season. We're going to see it. It's going to be weird packages, which is going to screw up the value of Michael Thomas. Alvin Kamara, I'm low on him because of that.
Everyone takes a hit. Yep.
I think he does take a hit, and it's going to be obviously a much different Saints team that we've seen. So I think that for football purposes, it could actually – they're going to need some time to go through some growing pains without Drew Brees. And if we're talking fantasy, it makes me question the key elements in that offense as well.
So you wouldn't draft Jameis Winston, or would you?
I would. If he was – I would draft him if he's like my second quarterback in a 2 QB league, and I got him, in double-digit rounds or something. If it's possible. I don't know. He has a good high floor, but he just had one of the best fantasy seasons when he threw 30 touchdowns, but he also threw 30 interceptions, but really he had a decent fantasy year, but that didn't do much for him in real football terms. So I don't know, man. I might want to just avoid all of the Saints, honestly, in 2021. I know that's crazy, but
even tomorrow. You're avoiding tomorrow.
I think he's going to go higher than I'm comfortable with. Yeah.
Dan, you agree?
Yeah, I mean, I think with Kamara, if you know it's the Taysom Hill experience, you're in all sorts of trouble from the get-go. If it's Kamara and the best receiving back that Jameis Winston had was who? Doug Martin? Was that his best receiving back? Who was the other guy? It was someone else. Charles, I forget. Charles.
No, I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, this is what you've got if you've got Alvin Kamara, and that's probably a concern because Jameis don't want to 3 yards laterally. He wants to chuck it 30 yards deep.
Correct.
that's the thing. I think if you're Sean Payton though, this is a good thing because if you're right on Jameis Winston, what's the worst thing that you've got? You've got another 5,000 yards, 30 touchdowns. Michael Thomas justifies his paycheck. If you're wrong on him, but Sean Payton will still claim he is right on Taysom Hill, then he gets his wish, and it basically justifies the means for the 2-year deal that he got, which was ridiculous in the first place. And if they suck, guess what? We know what the Saints are doing. They're getting their chance next year as well. So I think there's a lot of options for them in that regard. We'll see what happens, but yeah, I mean, Kamara going, yeah, I don't know.
I don't think either quarterback is their long-term answer.
Oh,
right?
Listen, if I mean, Winston has to go absolutely berserk and safe at the same time for him to be what they're looking for, and even if he is, they're still going to look elsewhere anyway. So that's the problem I think that he's got. You know, he really needs to play out of his skin and hope that free agent market next year is something palpable for him. Because, you know, what, Pittsburgh, is that the worst place for him to go? Probably not. Like, he'll have his options. I know, Gladys, you're a Steeler, but I'm just saying, like, you know, Daniel Jones doesn't work out in the Giants. Would I be mad if Jameis Winston turns up? No, I wouldn't, because if we've just paid Kenny Golladay a stupid amount of money, I want to see a quarterback getting the ball and see them doing something with it. Just saying. But, you know, I mean, if he has a good year, then Sean Payton wins because you got the guy on peanuts, really. So it's an interesting dichotomy they have this year.
I wouldn't mind Winston in Pittsburgh.
Would you rather Dwayne Haskins or Mason Rudolph?
Jameis Winston.
There you go.
Those are my choices. I would even take him over Roethlisberger right now, actually.
Josh Dobbs? Like, come on.
Yeah, come on now.
You could get Gardner Minshew at the end of the year if you're lucky. I mean,
yeah, Jameis Winston. I'm sticking.
There we go. So he's a decent enough option. Or Marcus Mariota if you're looking at the veteran.
I'm reading the comment from Gerson. He says in DFS he's known as Ty God Taylor when we're talking about Tyrod. So like my nickname for him was Ty Fraud Taylor. So bad.
Wow.
There you go.
Wow. I actually like Tyrod. All right.
Poor Tyrod.
That's okay.
Poor guy.
I know. What rookie not named Kyle Pitts is most likely to disappoint the 2021 season?
You're killing me.
Not that Kyle Pitts? I didn't see that.
I was gonna say Kyle Pitts. I
bet you both were gonna say Kyle Pitts.
I wanted to, but I wouldn't. I'm too busy writing about Hayden Hurst at the moment. I can't go. That's a rabbit hole I can't work with right now. I can't.
All right, so Dan.
No, please. No, please. No.
All right, so I'll say this. I'll start off. Fine. I'll deviate from Kyle Pitts, but I will start off by saying it's not that he's going to do terrible. I think he's going to have a great season. I just think come July, August, his ADP is going to be so ridiculous.
You're going to say the guy I'm about to say, please. I know this is coming. Go.
You're just gonna wish that you hadn't invested so much in a rookie tight end, which typically I know we're talking a different scale here, but you're putting a lot into the tight end position, which is a crapshoot after the top 2 or 3 anyway. So fine, I'll switch it up and. Here's what I want to say about rookies. Actually, I'm looking at their ADP and everything, and to be honest, they're all pretty safe. They're low risk. Wherever you're getting them, they're all pretty low risk options. So I don't think there's going to be many to disappoint in 2021. Just considering where you can draft them, especially if we're talking redraft and we're saying 2021, you're going to get a rookie in a late round that's more often than not going to actually return that value, if not more, and become a top 10 option next year, even though you've got them in the top 70 pick. You picked them 66th overall, and now all of a sudden they're top 10 next year. So I think that's actually more likely to happen than any of them disappointing you enough to make you completely regret where you drafted them. So I guess that's a kind of a cop-out answer, but that's what I'm going with.
I did throw your spitball though, because Kyle Pitts is the favorite because he's going so high in redrafts. this year. So, yes, Dan, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
no, you're right. He's taken over, hasn't he? That trade last week didn't help, and he was already going fairly high price, so that should have had you a little concerned. You know, I went for a guy that people really like, and I kind of like him too. I think he's really good. I really like Javonte Williams, but I kind of feel like he could be this year's J.K. Dobbins, and I hate saying that out aloud because obviously, like after those top three running backs, like you're taking a punt on Trey Sermon or Michael Carter, or you're hoping Kenny Gainwell catches a break in Philly. But like I saw it as, I don't think, unless he gets cut, Melvin Gordon's not going to go away. And you look at that team with Judy, a healthy Sutton, Fant, Hamler, Tim Patrick, Agwabunam if you want. Like,
yeah,
they want to throw that thing. They really want to throw the ball. Like, I know Williams is okay as a pass catcher. He's fine, but you know, I'm just looking at it as I know when redraft season comes in, people are going to hit that rookie fever again. That second wave's going to come through, and this kid's going to go flying up because, like, it's circumstance. He's already higher than Melvin Gordon. Okay, I understand that, but we're talking like Najee Harris is what a second-round pick in best ball at the moment. Williams is sitting there. He started creeping up from the 8th, 9th into the 7th, 8th, or 6th, 7th, 8th, or something, whatever it is. And for me, it's like there's still like competition there. Like, he could get Mike Boone. Like, this is what it really could be, and no one wants to see that. But, you know, I'm a little bit worried about now people are going to know how good he is, and when people start flooding back, they're going to push him further up, and that's a concern. The problem also with Javonte Williams is he's also going after Chase Edmonds. So, like, the guy's had, 20-plus carries twice in his life, and Williams is going after him. So, I love Edmonds. I'm not an Edmonds guy. How he's in the top 25 RBs going in the 5th. It's fool's gold. His issue is Kenyon Drake, typical. But here we are again, like looking at Williams, who's going further than a guy that doesn't get the work. Okay, so I can see where Williams is then of value. But we thought that Dobbins last year was going to come in and take the work, and he still had those veterans about. And they played around with Gus Edwards and the odd Justice Hill carry, which was kind of.
Well, that's the problem though with Javonte, because I'm glad you brought him up because he's actually going like in the 11th round right now, in early ADP. And if he's named the starter, he's going to skyrocket, obviously, right? So, but the truth is, regardless if he's named the starter or not, you still have Melvin Gordon, a proven veteran who can handle the friggin' workload. Like, so I think you could be right when it comes to Javonte Williams. I think that he could end up being a disappointment depending on where they land. That's why it's like it's so early to have this conversation, I guess.
It's such a 1-year thing because next year it's wheels up. Gordon won't be there another year. I'd highly doubt they give him an extra season. I don't see that happening. So you're talking about another year, but that depth chart again is really thin. Guess what they're probably going to do? They're going to add to it again. Like it's a weird situation to see them in. Hey, listen, what happens if Watson goes there? What does Watson do to his value? Right, here we go again. Like this is one of those things where you really want Teddy Bridgewater being the quarterback and you want Melvin Gordon to get traded. Hey, wheels up, go Williams, have at it. Go nuts. But I'm at that point where it's like I don't feel like the circumstances are right for him to be taken where he is at this point. Hit redraft season, it's going to balloon even further, I think. We also might know more information then too. So
I agree with Eric with Melvin Gordon there. So yeah, I mean, I think you could be right though, Dan. That's a good call with Javonte Williams. I'll throw another hat in the ring. Is Kenneth Gainwell. I think he's getting a lot of hype, and he's somebody who can climb up ADP. Come July, August. And, somebody I was lower on last year, Miles Sanders, I'm much higher on this year. I feel like I'm against the grain with Miles Sanders. Last year I was low on him, and I got crushed for it. He was my RB16 prior to the season. He was outside the, top 20 running backs. And this year, I think I have him inside my top 10, believe it or not. Wow. And a lot of people are super low on him. So I think Gainwell is because of how low people are on Miles Sanders, they think the rookie's just going to come in and take a bunch of that workload, and I just don't see it happening. I've seen flashes from Sanders. For me, it was never about Miles Sanders' talent. It was about the coaching. And Doug Peterson, to me, is like the running back Grim Reaper. And now that he's gone, I think we can see a lot more from Miles Sanders in 2021. And I'm going to stick to that. So,
yeah, why not? Yeah, Gainwell's a good shout. Like he seems like a darling of everyone, and
yep.
It's just those landing places for a lot of them. Listen, Sermon, I feel like Sermon's going to be that guy, in a few months too, because, if Jeff Wilson's out till November and they're already saying Raheem Mostert doesn't look too great at this point. Oh, wow, they drafted him in the 3rd round. Wow, Shanahan and running backs, here we go again. Like, this is going to be a thing that's going to skyrocket this guy through the roof. They're going to watch that game against Clemson, assume that's going to happen every week, and off we go. Right? It's just, I think it's, it's going to happen. I can kind of feel it. But my first instinct was obviously Pitts, I think, like Nate, and then Williams after that. I was like, not overly happy about it.
Let's talk running backs for a brief second, and this is something that just recently came up. Does Le'Veon Bell have a landing spot this year?
Not an active one. I mean, I think that he could be the next LaShawn McCoy, where he just is lucky enough where he ends up on back-to-back teams winning a Super Bowl ring and not playing a single snap in the Super Bowl. I think that's where Le'Veon Bell is, and it's unfortunate because I think he's so talented, but he's also a very toxic personality. And given his age, right, which is younger than me, but I think he's old, right, for a running back, and especially with the workload he's had in his Pittsburgh years, he's just not looked at by other teams as that feature guy anymore. I think he's just a compliment, change of pace kind of guy, and I think he does potentially have a landing spot, but I don't think it's before the season. I think it's one of those things where injuries occur and then he's brought on at the minimum by another team. I think that's what we're going to see out of Le'Veon Bell this season.
Dan?
Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be a job for him because of the name value, and that's going to happen. And he's had an incredible career for what it was, aside from the Jets Chiefs kind of debacle that was. But there's always going to, like, all it takes is an injury. I'll give you a situation that I'm looking at. The backup for the team I support is Devontae Booker. Like, that's where I'm at. Now, if you tell me they brought Le'Veon Bell in, would I be worried about for Saquon Barkley? Absolutely not. But would I rather Le'Veon Bell starting the season over Devontae Booker? Probably. Because you never know how Saquon's going to come back. There's always like ambiguous areas at backfields, like somewhere like Miami, right? Because Myles Gaskin showed he could. Hey, I'm on Myles Gaskin this year. Why not?
Me too.
Salvin Ahmed was the next guy up, right? That Jared Dokes, is that what we're doing? So, there's places like that where he could walk in and almost see, I don't want to say a workload, but I'm saying like he could get a role. He could get a role in something like that. Like that could be a thing. And
he could see 35 to 40% even. He could see almost a split carry.
And that's the thing. And you really don't want to, because what you saw from someone like Myles Gaskin last year was like, that was kind of pretty cool to see. A kid come out from he was drafted by San Fran or whatever, picked up by San Fran, ends up in Miami. You want to see dudes like that succeed, okay. But Le'Veon Bell could walk in and you could easily see coaches and backroom staffs going, we love Le'Veon Bell. This is amazing. This is great. Let's just keep him here for a year. And that could happen. But, why not Atlanta? Mike Davis, that's a thing. But is it? Because if Le'Veon Bell was there, that's a name where people might go, hey, we lost Julio Jones, but you know what? Le'Veon Bell's going to sell some shirts. He will, though. That's the thing. Like, you can see people taking that risk on him now, going, you know what? He might get people excited, because if we show highlights from 2016, people are going to be all over this guy, and they're going to turn up and, hey, look, now we got a 1-2 punch with Davis and Le'Veon Bell. That could really happen.
He may not be good, though, for your organization.
No,
like if he's just bad-mouthing Kansas City, one of the best teams in the NFL, and one of the best coaches we've ever seen in Andy Reid, if he's bad-mouthing them after he's left there, I don't know if
he might have had a point. He might have had a point going after Adam Gase, though. So
he might
have had a point on that. But Andy Reid is even as a Giants fan, how can you not like Andy Reid? What a good dude. I don't begrudge him because he was a Philly coach. He just seems like a good dude that knows good football. So,
Right.
He's gone after that guy and what they've built over the past. Even in the Alex Smith years, Andy Reid was through it. So, it's kind of it'd have to be the right organization to kind of take him on, or a team that's super desperate, and that could be something that happens too.
Okay. So, do you see him going back to the Steelers?
No. I don't think there's a chance for that.
Dan?
To me, it's just like
I could, yeah.
No, that
I
feels
really
like the
could.
ship that sailed, though. No,
It does, but I could also see them. Listen, if you've got a guy like Juju that could have walked and said, "Hey, I want to do this," and you've got a guy like Ben Roethlisberger that's taken a pay cut for the first time in his life, I could see them going something like, "Let's bring the mentor in because it ain't Benny Snell, and it's not Jalen Samuel, and it ain't Anthony McFarland."
If they start,
I wouldn't hate it.
No, but if they start publicly recruiting him back, then
He's gone. I know he'll be back. He'll be back. I'm sure.
I'm interested to hear what he has to say about this because here we go. Yeah, please.
Wait, can you hear me or no?
Yeah, no, you're good.
Okay.
I'd like to hear you finish that because that's.
So what I was saying is that I think that if Juju and Ben Roethlisberger come together, especially Ben, he's got nothing to lose at this point, right? He's at the tail end of his career. He knows he had some success or a lot of success with Le'Veon Bell there. If they start coming in and saying, "Hey, we want you, Le'Veon," that's the only way I see it happening. Other than that, I don't see him returning to Pittsburgh.
I feel like if this is like their 1 year, if this is it for them, right? You could see them taking that like narrative of, "Hey, this is it. We're bringing him back. He's going to help the rookie out. He's going to help Ben out." I could see them wanting to do that. I don't think they will, but I wouldn't hate it. You'd have to move some pieces there, and he'd have to be open to the idea of not being paid. You'd have to see him not want to get paid for that. But I don't know. That'd be long answer. Short answer. No.
Okay. I just had to throw that in there because I could conceivably see him going back to Pittsburgh for like a year. Like Ben's here. In reality, this is his last year there in Pittsburgh.
Oh, he's done.
And they're throwing all the eggs in the basket to win. And I could see him bringing Bell back for that. Although I love Najee Harris. I absolutely do. But
it's going to be fun.
I could see it happening. I don't know why I wouldn't. All right, we're going to switch up a little bit and move into a different realm of talk. I want to know what you think is the most iconic movie line you've ever heard. Nate.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, you're the one with like all the motivational stuff in the morning.
All right, so yeah. Oh my God! So I'm glad that you said that because and what's so funny is I never swear on podcasts, but I'll go ahead and do it because it's my favorite line. Yeah, are you ready for this?
Ready.
Shitter was full from Cousin Eddie in Christmas Vacation. I think to me that's the most iconic quote of all time.
Christmas Vacation.
Shitter was full, and who doesn't love when hearing that line? I mean, to me, that's one of my favorite lines of all time.
Dan.
Yeah, it's a tough one to follow, Dan, huh?
Yeah, I can't say that. How do you come back from that? I think I'll tell you what. There was a low budget. There was a low budget movie that was made in 2008. It was starring an Australian actor. It was this really low budget, not known movie called The Dark Knight. It had a guy called Heath Ledger. I think it was a Batman something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I think I heard that.
Yeah, no, he didn't do too much after that apparently. But you could literally pluck any line that guy says at any point of that movie, and hold on to that as something that is incredible. But he did have one line in there that kind of sat with me for a long time, And he says, they laugh at me because I'm different. I laugh at them because they're all the same. And for some reason, that kind of resonated.
That's a good
I
line.
love that.
I don't know why that stuck with me for so long.
No, Dan, you
That's-
win. You win the quote battle.
That one,
okay?
you know, you go through like anything that guy said, and it was just all magic. Like everything he said, that whole movie was just incredible. But that one there, for some reason, you know, he saw it differently, and I feel
He
like
was-
That's
is-
good. I like that.
There we go.
Okay, I don't know if you guys are big movie aficionados, but just an aside, do you think that Ledger was the best Joker in all the Batman movies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
close. Yeah, it's not close.
He was just ridiculous.
He was ridiculous. He was awesome.
I don't know many. You can, you know, it sucks because like you're going to find people that tell you that there's going to be so many other different better movies out there. I struggle to find something that I watch and go on every level that is brilliant, and they cast it perfectly, and it was it was sensational.
It was Christopher Nolan, right? Directed and like just the tone in the Dark Knight series, like that, I'm a big. I first of all, I don't like DC. I'm a Marvel guy.
Yeah.
And to me, like, I don't even like Batman. I think that the villains make the Batman movies.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, but to me, like Bane, even, and you know, with what was Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, Heath Ledger's Joker, you can't just the mood and tones in those movies. You can't I don't like to watch a movie multiple times. Like, it's one of those things, like, I'm so weird about. I don't like to watch something I already know the outcome, right? So when people say, "Oh, just record the game," I'm like, "You kidding me?" Like, no. I get all the notifications. I know what happens. I'm not going to watch it. But anyways, go back to movies. I can watch The Dark Knight 50 times in a week.
I'm telling you now, I'm looking forward to my daughter becoming of age to watch that with her and just sit down and say, sit down and just, you're going to learn something from this. You really will.
Awesome.
It's everyone's character arc through the whole thing. It's ridiculous, and they all play their role perfectly. It's fantastic, you know. But that one there, it kind of stuck with me. I don't know why.
Yeah, shitter was full.
Thanks
a lot, Dan. Thanks.
I'm sorry, man. I just, you know, I was thinking about this and I saw the show sheet and I was like, oh man, I really like that one. I was like, the Joker. I mean, come on, I'm sure someone said it before.
That's a good line.
I'm actually with you on that. I'm not the biggest DC kind of person. They're fine. I kind of feel like they've botched the whole Suicide Squad stuff, and how can you not like the Marvel stuff that they're doing now? These miniseries that they have coming out. Loki was
amazing.
I watched Loki. Oh
awesome.
My god! And like I understand, like WandaVision was hard to kind of get into for the first couple of episodes, but my god, like it took off after that.
It comes together, man.
Yeah, like they there's a reason why they're just that damn good for the past 25 years, nearly 20 years. They're untouchable, and like, you know, who knows what they do with Deadpool and the X-Men series? Like that's, you know, they're onto something.
They're crushing it.
Yeah, you know, it is what it is.
All right. First of all, I saw Loki. I watched it twice, and I'm not a big Marvel or DC person, although I do like to watch movies. It's not that I didn't get it. I just didn't think it was better than the other two first, like the first WandaVision and the first Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Although I thought Owen Wilson like crushed it. He was.
Yeah. They were really good. They were all good.
Yeah, but I don't know. Anyway, that's off point. I'm sorry. But I was thinking about that
for hours. Let's go.
The second time I saw it, I'm like, I don't like, everyone's going crazy over this, and I don't understand why. But maybe, you know, by the second or third Loki, I'll get it. It'll dawn on me what's going on.
Loki's just one of those favorite characters. That's why. I mean, I love his character. And one thing we learned in that first episode is that he's going to help gather the variants of Loki. But we all know how his story ends, and I think they're going to stick with that, and they're not going to make him live off somewhere else. I think he's going to
Okay.
end up.
Just the look on his face when he saw the
We
individual.
saw it. I know.
Yeah.
It was so
Just
sad.
like,
Yep.
like everyone's fighting for this, and it's nothing. Like it's so apt for everything else, really. But
Yeah.
you kind of is giving you off like anti-hero vibes at this point. He's going to be
Exactly.
out. People aren't going to see it coming, and then bam, Thor's released. You know, they're brilliant.
Exactly.
That's it.
Right.
Speaking of movies, I want the top 3 Leonardo DiCaprio movies that you think are the top 3. Top 3. Dan.
I struggled with this because, like, I'm sure because I only saw a couple of his like recently that I'd never seen Romeo and Juliet or The Great Gatsby up until about 2 months
they
ago.
wouldn't.
I had no idea, but I had seen a couple. Inception, I thought was brilliant. Again, I mean, the cast around him was kind of incredible too. I remember as a kid, I thought he was pretty cool in What's Eating Gilbert Grape, Johnny Depp as well. Like, you can't really argue with that. But I thought his best movie, and, you know, there were a lot of good people in that. I thought Gangs of New York was pretty sick. So, you know, it's hard to go past.
So Gangs of New York, Inception, and What's Eating Gilbert Grape are your 3?
Yeah, well.
No, they're good. I mean,
That's what
I've
I'm
never,
going with. You know, I could have Titanic, maybe. I don't think I've seen it. So, like, I mean,
you've never seen Titanic?
I'm not watching 3 hours about a boat that sinks, Gladys. I
He's
know
never watched Wizard of Oz either. So
What?
it's been a while, but I mean, Titanic. I mean, come on, like, you'll learn about this. It sinks. They die.
it
like,
does think you're
it's
right.
an iceberg. The movie. There's no swerve in this movie.
Hey,
They
but the
die.
fictional love story that's thrown in is
Yeah,
what
no,
the
I'm
whole
good.
thing's
Yeah,
about.
no. Let me tell you something here. After working in the jewelry industry for a little bit of time here, I'm telling you, she doesn't chuck that gem. Let me tell you that much.
No, that's in the Smithsonian in Washington, D.C.
Yeah,
I know that for sure.
no one's chucking that sucker. But I'm telling you
Okay.
that right now. But no, I mean, why am I spending time watching that? It's just not happening. It's just
All
not
right,
going to
Gladys. I hope you like my answers a little bit more.
It won't be hard to top at this point.
I will say I'm going to start with I did throw Gangs of New York in there. I did.
Okay.
It's pretty good.
So that's one of mine. The Departed. I'm a Boston guy, so like I have to automatically go with The Departed. And then honestly, my favorite Leo DiCaprio movie of all time is Catch Me If You Can. Like, that is like my favorite Leo DiCaprio movie. Him and Tom Hanks. It was just magic from beginning to end.
I haven't seen it.
And he's such a good con artist in that movie. It was amazing. You've never seen that, Dan?
Nah.
All right, watch it. Catch Me If You Can.
Have
It's
you
a
ever
great
seen
film.
What's up?
Have you seen The Departed?
Yeah, I mean, you can throw. Listen, it's a very good Boston movie with Dropkick Murphys playing in the background. You can't go wrong for a.
That's right.
You can't go wrong. Like, you just throw that on and you've got a movie. It's great.
Yeah.
The Town was the same. You throw The Town on, bang,
The Town.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
The Town is really good.
off you
I
go.
know
But no,
The Town,
is
yeah.
it, what did they say? It was I'll not be a product of my environment. My environment will be a product of me. That's probably one of the biggest quotes in
Another
a movie.
quote.
I remember. Yeah, the part of the really good one. So
I
that was a
love
good
The Town.
movie.
Gladys, you got answers here?
I don't have answers, but I have questions. I have
Okay.
questions.
Okay.
Gangs of New York, Daniel Day-Lewis, yes.
Yes.
Inception, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who I think is probably one of the most underrated actors.
I agree.
Ever.
How good was Looper? Oh my god,
Yeah.
What?
Looper.
What is it? I
Lupa.
did
Yeah.
you? Okay, Looper. No. Yeah. Okay. He doesn't look anything like Bruce Willis.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Sorry, I've never seen it. My bad. But
There was a lot of squinting. I'll give you that. He tried to pull the squint off. It didn't work, but the story was still pretty good though.
the story it was a really good story. I will give you that. DiCaprio's movies, the ones that are considered the best, it has a lot of good supporting actors surrounding him. Like the casts are magnificent. What's It in Gilbert Grape, him and Johnny Depp. Gangs of New York, Daniel Day-Lewis, who you just don't go wrong with, and Cameron Diaz.
Right.
Inception, that whole crew in Inception was good.
That's
Like-
basically Doctor Strange. Like, if you've ever seen a Doctor Strange movie,
Yeah, it's
that's
pretty
what
good.
Inception is.
Yeah, there's a lot going on there. Yeah, but yeah,
They,
very
they do a whole Inception, like, 20-minute scene. It's pretty much the same thing.
probably
But
best to
Benedict
watch that.
Cumberbatch, Doctor Strange, the new one?
Probably best to watch that one in the morning.
Really just watch. Why I need to watch it again because clearly I didn't get that. All right, tell me your favorite female superhero, Dan, besides your daughter.
Yeah, well,
Ah,
I'm not going. I went movie route because it would be very easy to say about the women in my life. That would be pretty simple. So I'm going to bypass that because I think that's obvious. I mean, come on, Halle Berry as Storm in X-Men. Come on, this is an easy one. Halle Berry.
She's also Catwoman,
Yeah,
I'm not worried about that. Doesn't matter what she's in, really. But I went with Storm and X-Men. Halle Berry for the win. Whatever.
Okay.
That's valid. Okay.
Well, I'm gonna go with somebody who would just kick her ass, and I'm gonna go with Captain Marvel. You can't Captain Marvel. You cannot go wrong with Captain Marvel. She is the most powerful Avenger, and she's the most badass superhero in anything.
So it's funny. I didn't think that movie was great, but it kind of feels like it's leading into more, and I feel like I'm kind of looking forward to seeing how that turns out. But it was some pretty cool footage. She was in Scott Pilgrim Saves the World, right? So there's like some pretty cool footage of her playing that song like acoustic now. I forget what it was, but it was floating about a week ago. It was really sick. So they've actually just released it now. But no, Captain Marvel.
She's a badass. I'm not really sure she could kick Storm's ass.
Did you see the one up? Did you see the one?
She absolutely could kick Storm's ass. I mean, she could single-handedly win an entire war in Endgame.
Probably. I have no problem with that. But Halle Berry, I'm going with that.
No, hey, I hear you.
It wasn't hard to go with. I was like,
I get it.
Okay, I might have a couple of disagreements because I think Wanda could probably kick Captain Marvel's ass. It would be a good fight. It would be a really good fight.
It'd
be an excellent fight. All right, gentlemen, I appreciate you, and it's time for your rant. And I'm going to let Nate go first because I have a feeling that the other rant might have lots of explicitives in it.
Oh, okay. So
no, I really don't.
I'm just saying.
Save the swearing for last.
We will save the swearing for last.
Man, I first of all, Gladys, I love that you do this rant thing because it reminds me very much of my fantasy tilt days with Keaton Denley.
That was funny. That was a good show.
It's honestly my favorite podcast that I've ever done, and maybe Keaton and I will bring it back sometime. We'll see.
Yes, please do.
So yeah, I guess one thing that has always bothered me, and this is something I brought up in that show a while ago, which is you're at the gas station, and you've got 30 different things that they ask you, like 30 different questions before you can get your gas. So it's like cash or credit or debit. Select it. Okay. Do you want a car wash today? No. Do you have a rewards card? No. Did you want to save money by subscribing to blah, blah, blah? No. I just want freaking gas. Okay. It's one of those things where you got to select. It takes you 5 minutes at the pump before you even take the damn pump off and put it in your thing to refill gas. Yeah. Who wants to spend a lot of time at a gas station? So that's one thing. And I'm going to rant about one more thing too that I tweeted about recently. And apparently a lot of people actually do this, and it's surprising to me. And I'm sorry if I offend either one of you. However, when I ask for a score of a game and somebody tells me, oh, the score is 3-6, so and so, or 4-7. This team's win. I'm like, for me, you always start with the higher score. I don't know why. I don't care if it's the home team. Like people try to justify by saying, oh, I always say my home team. And, so you either say like we're winning 7-4 or we're losing 7-4. You always say the higher score first. And to me, it's one of my biggest pet peeves. Don't ever tell me that the score is 4-7, 3-6. Like that's gonna throw me right off the rails there. So, So there you go. There's two rants.
It was two rants. The first one. Where do you live? Where do you live?
I live in New Hampshire. I grew up, born and raised in Lowell, Massachusetts, about 30 minutes outside of Boston. But I live in New Hampshire now.
Because we don't get asked those questions here in Colorado at the gas station.
No?
No.
Oh, you're lucky.
I know. I was like, that's crazy because that's a lot of questions.
Dan, do
And
you get
that's funny.
questions at the gas station?
Oh man, I'm too out of it at that point to really notice what's going on. To be honest with you, no, I don't get questions. It's just put the card in and
Put the card in, exactly. Put the card in, pump. That's
Okay,
what
well, I
we
hate
do.
both
I
of
think
you.
that's,
So
that's,
there
a,
you go.
that's a I think that's a Philly and Jersey thing though. I've done that in Jersey before. I'm like, I really don't need your help for this. Like, I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm an adult. I know how to put. I'm good. It's the same process for the past 20 odd years. This is like waking up in the morning. I know how to fill a car up. Why are you asking me questions like this?
Well, the Northeast people will know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I anytime I venture out into Jersey, I know that happens, and I kind of just wait till I get back.
Awful.
Yeah.
See, and I was going to give you, and I'm thinking in my head, the reason I turned, I have the Mississippi State Notre Dame NCAA game on, and I was looking at the score, and I was thinking in my head, how would I say the score? Would I say the high score first? I don't know. Yeah, I probably would. You're right. Hi, Kyle. All right, Dan. Rant time.
I'm not a rant guy. Come on, this isn't fair.
Yeah. That's why we love you.
I've got a couple, but listen, I'm a soccer guy. I know this sounds funny, but I am predominantly and traditionally a soccer guy. I just watched the worst game of 90 minutes. What's the swear language? What's the language jar in this? How far can I take this?
As far as you want.
Oh, you fucking kid in Spain. You got 90% possession for 90 fucking minutes, and you can't do anything for 89% of that possession. You fucking numpties. You paid how much fucking money? Are you kidding me? And you can't score from 3 fucking yards out? Are you like? It is borderline ridiculous how you can have the ball for that long and do fuck all with it. This is why soccer gets a bad rap, because they watch shit like this and go, I ain't fucking doing that again. Not a fucking chance. Like, that happened. I watched that today. I come home and I put it on, and you can't beat Sweden. They didn't give a shit either. They're like, yeah, whatever, have it. I don't give a fuck. They didn't want to do anything with it either. And I got to do this again. 3 more games tomorrow. Like, God damn, you got to do something with it. Like, be urgent. You're at a championships. Like, give a shit.
Well, again, Dan, with you being into soccer as much as you are, surprises me being such a hardcore New Yorker with that thick New York accent that you have. It really surprises me.
No, I actually predominantly am a soccer guy. I played at a really good level back home. My older brother, he was signed to a Premier League team at the age of 15. He left home and he went to a team called Southampton. So he was there for a while, and I played across the state leagues and National Youth League back home as well. So that's something.
I played varsity in high school as a freshman. So there we go.
It's an incredible game to watch. But no, I actually put on size after I came to America. I wasn't this big. You guys have good food here, but no, I just it's just one of those things. It's just soccer, but it's hard to deal with when you see something happen. And you're like, come on, man. Speaking of superheroes, the people that revived Christian Eriksen a day or two ago, that was borderline incredible. They saved the guy's life.
That's awesome.
He's made a good recovery and he looks all right, and that's pretty cool too. But a second round, I'm going to tell you guys something. This might, Gladys, you were kind of privy to it into a chat group of ours for our Going for Two. I'm going to say it now. I don't care who hears it. All American sitcoms suck. The Office sucks. How I Met Your Mother sucks. Parks and Rec sucks. 30 Rock sucks. Give me another one. You don't need to.
Hey, you know what? Can I just say something? Dan, I hate to interrupt your rant, but those sitcoms, I'm going to be the least popular guy in America too. I've never watched any one of those sitcoms.
I got through 3 minutes of The Office.
Seinfeld. Never watched Seinfeld in my life.
Again, no. Seinfeld I watched because when I first moved to America, that's what I used as like a tour guide. I didn't know what I was doing. Like it was very relevant, so I dealt with that. But like the rest of it, like The Office, you botched the English. Ricky Gervais's masterpiece, you botched it. It's ruined. Like you can't go back and watch that knowing what the abomination is that you come up with. The Office sucks. It's terrible. Oh, it's all like gotcha. Like I don't give a fuck. Like why do you like you should like this is just silly shit. Parks and Rec, it's like that wink, huh? The nod and a wink. Oh, this is funny. Oh, fuck, we got him. No, this is fucking terrible. This would never happen. HR would be on your ass. You'd all be fired. This is how the real world works. And I know it's a show to suspend your... No, this is fucking terrible because it's all the same paint by numbers crap that you have to deal with every fucking day. I'm done with it. Like, I don't know how anyone can watch it. And it just goes on and on. And like these fucking shows ended years ago and you're still banging on about them. God, like for fuck's sake, like find something else. Like do something else. Like, fuck, commute, be a part of society. Like you're still hanging on to this shit. Every fucking thread, every fucking conversation is, oh, but The Office, I don't give a shit.
Dan,
I don't give a shit.
Dan,
I'm done with this shit. It's fucking terrible.
I'll just come right out and say it. I love you, man.
Oh,
I do.
that's
That's
just
just.
so bad.
Oh,
How can
Bad.
you not?
Oh my God. How about your mother? I'm going to put this one to bed. Let me tell you, this is a fucking 8th season. I saw it come up today in a thread somewhere. 8, 9 seasons about a guy that couldn't get married. I found my fucking wife in New York after 14 days we were married. And that guy couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. His whole life he lived there. He couldn't find one fucking person to marry. I found her in a bar at 3 in the fucking morning. And he couldn't do it? Are you
That's
kidding? They wrote a
amazing.
show about that shit. Are you kidding me? That fucking guy. What a fucking that guy is. Oh, fucking Ted. Shut the fuck up, man. It's not hard. These shows are so fucking terrible. And this is just listen. I'm an American citizen now, so I can have an opinion. I get it.
yeah.
I'm now one of you guys.
You're one of us.
Like I can
One of
say
us.
that now. You know, if my green card was on the line, I'd keep quiet still. Like it's just one of those things. I watch it. And I kind of just go, how? Like you guys are getting dumber. I feel that. Like.
It is what it is. I mean,
And don't give me this, oh, what are you watching instead, garbage? I'd rather watch nothing. I would. I'd rather watch nothing. And I will. I'll go do something else. I'll go outside and play with grass or something. I'd rather get something out of it. I just don't know how. I don't. It's just
Dan,
terrible.
Dan, you win the rant battle as well. So
Oh, I don't
he's goes up against.
I don't like to rant though. That's the thing. But then Gladys puts me up against it every Monday night, and this is where I end up.
Gladys, I'll tell you what.
Yes,
As
sir.
much as I love Dan, never put me on a podcast with this one up right here.
Yeah,
Wait,
no,
wait. I'll point right here like
That's
that.
it. I just, you know, I keep out of trouble most of the time. I keep quiet. I don't start fights.
love it, man.
I keep to myself, and then bang, Dan, what rant have you got? Fuck.
That's good.
Where do you want to start?
I agree with you. I don't think the office is funny. I
I'll
don't
go
think
for another one. Here, let's upset the masses even more. American beer is fucking terrible. We can go with that.
Craft beer, I'm gonna disagree right there.
Oh,
Craft
okay,
beer is good.
cool. Craft beer. You finally woke up to what the rest of the world was doing. It was making your beer strong.
That's
Like,
all I do is
That's
drink.
all it was.
I drink strong IPAs, man. That's what I'm drinking right
I
now.
come out
And
to this
bourbon.
place and you just like
What are you
serve your
drinking?
blood. Yeah, bourbon.
What are you drinking, Dan?
I'm. j-
I got a little bit of vodka
Yeah.
today. I got the vodka today. I'm on a little bit of vodka. I'm on a vodka kick. It's the
So-
summer.
You're on a vodka kick?
I-
Nate, what are you drinking?
I had Woodford Reserve bourbon,
Nice.
and then I'm also drinking a 617. It's a local brewery called Lord Hobo, and it's a IPA. It's a double IPA.
Nice.
Yeah,
Again, like where I'm from, beer is strong, and it's cold, and it's amazing. But this out here, here's Budweiser, which sucks. But we're going to give you the alternative Buzz Light. It's lighter than the one that sucks. But what the fuck is this? Like, no, give me something real. It tells you something. If you're in the middle of summer and you're looking for a Guinness, that's the problem you've got because you're looking for something with flavor and something that's strong enough. But no,
I'll take one
have a
step
Coors
further.
Light.
Ice cold beer is actually not a good way to drink it. You got to drink it.
Within
No.
reason, like that's why I tend to lean towards the Guinness because like it doesn't have to be cold, and I'm down with that. But like, you get something, you're like, my God, some of this is just garbage. And I get it, the IPAs, and that's cool. Like, nice.
Good.
But again, like everything everywhere else is stronger, and it's taken you guys. How long's this country been around for?
It's a baby.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I remember it was in my immigration questionnaire. I remember that much, but like, it's just one of those things. You're like, well, you've had this much time to figure out Budweiser and Coors Light. It's just not really something that I want to delve into.
All right, then. I think this was probably the best rant ending ever in the history of rants from both of you,
I'm so
and
sorry.
I appreciate that more than you know. Nate, where can people find you if they want to discuss?
So, Fantasy Football Black Book.
Yes.
Obviously, go get yourself a Fantasy Football Black Book 2021 on Amazon. Follow me on Twitter at DominateFF. I live there. That's my home. That's where I live every day. And then obviously, all my content is at the Game Day NFL. So you go to thegameday.com and under Fantasy Football, that's where you can find all my content. And Twitter's the best way because I'm just on it always.
And like I said, you guys, you need to get his morning motivations. They are quite spectacular.
7:30 a.m. Eastern time.
Oh yeah, really?
Every
I must-
day,
I
7:30
must see
a.m.
Nathan. Or early.
That's early.
Well, I'm on Mountain Time.
Yeah,
Dan,
more Mountain Time.
I am on Mountain Time. I always forget that. My dear, who I appreciate more than you know, where can people find you?
Probably under a rock with Twitter to say that at this point, I'm probably going to disappear for a few days.
Please don't.
You know, probably not going to turn around for the launch of this episode, Class. Normally you can find me at the B League Says. I have been writing for Going for Two for some time now, and I do the game plan for the week during the season, but in the off season it delves into different aspects of where we're at. So I think this next article is going to be a bit more dynasty and best ball based. I think I do the Gotham City podcast with my boy Izzy O, Sosa Props. And I have just started writing for the Dynasty Rewind, which is great.
Oh, nice! Congratulations.
Yeah. It's that'll obviously be more in season, but I'm doing a little bit of work for the Patreons between now and then, and they're good dudes and dudettes, lovely people over there, and looking forward to growing with them as well. But I'm just, probably going to keep quiet for the next couple of days.
And of course, I want to thank everyone who joined, who is listening. Everyone who will be listening, everyone who did listen. Thank you, Eric, for your comments. Kyle, you were a little late, but better late than never. Gerson, miss your face. Thank you for joining us. Leo, I'm sorry I missed you. I'm sorry it was past your bedtime. And everyone, please, there's a lot of charity work going on now in the fantasy football world. One way or another, do something nice for someone else other than yourself. See how good you can feel about that. Listen to these two gentlemen. They are the greatest voices in our fantasy community. Both of them are really, really, really good people and really, really knowledgeable fantasy people. So listen up, you guys, if you want to, win some fantasy leagues. I love you both. Thank you.
Right back at you, Glass. Love you.
And we will see you next week. You will see Kyle, who is going to have a wonderful show. Thank you for joining. Thank you, gentlemen.